What's going on, everybody? I'm Maslon Hajavandi, joined by Gene Williams, the founder and administrator of Warchant.com, the ultimate Seminoles sports source. This is the Warchant transfer portal tracker powered by Cummins. Check out shop.cummins.com. Use the promo code TAILGATE to save 10% over there. Comings and goings obviously flying throughout social media right now, Gene, as the portal opened up on the 4th. Pretty much surprising news here. This one caught me by big surprise here on a player that seems to be on his way out at Florida State, and that would be Patrick Payton, who tweeted here on Tuesday evening that he plans to enter the transfer portal. Graded out really well on PFF, Gene. He's a guy that had 28 solo tackles, 13 and a half TFLs, 10 breakups, as we all know. This one hurts a little bit. This guy's productive.
Yeah, this does really hurt because I think he was one of the foundational pieces you were expecting going into next year. Obviously, we all pretty much know it's a foregone conclusion. Nothing's been announced officially yet that Jared Verse is probably gone and is going to take his immense talents on to the NFL. But you thought, well, you know what? You get Patrick Payton back. You've got a couple good guys in the interior. The defensive line should still be pretty darn good. Well, that end position, that edge rusher position, has gotten extremely thin and unproven going into next season. So yeah, that is a blow. And what's kind of the bigger picture stuff about this, Aslan, is this is really the first time I can think of that a major player, assuming he follows through with this, and we got a scare last year with Joshua Farmer, remember, and he stayed with Florida State. But they have always been on the receiving end of getting elite targets to come in. They've lost very few guys who are just locked in big time starters for the team that have left to go to the portal. So it is a blow. It's obviously a little bit of surprise. I think all the other guys we've seen go in the portal so far have been very much expected. Yeah, it's a blow. There's no doubt about it. But the nice thing about the portal, it works both ways. Sometimes the portal taketh away, and sometimes it can give us. So we'll see if FSU, Mike Norvell has been so good in the portal, is able to replace Patrick Payton with somebody else from another school.
Yeah. And before, a good point of you talking about Joshua Farmer last year, a bit on his false start about possibly leaving, but ending up staying with the program, is that just because he enters the portal or intends to put his name in the portal doesn't necessarily mean he will leave the program. There might be some sort of runway there for him to return if they can maybe smooth things out, whatever the reason was for him announcing this news, Gene. But, being out at practice, he's a very emotive young man. You would see him out there. His emotions are on his sleeve. He's very intense at practice. Coaches sometimes have to harness that energy. And you saw him kind of get frustrated with things, but he would always show up on Saturday and produce for this team. So it might be one of those cases right now where emotions are high, obviously, with everything that happened with the college football playoff and post, season meetings that you're having with your position coaches. I would hope that the door would be left open for a guy like this, but he was a guy that ran really hot and that was visible at practice. And maybe the staff wants him to kind of think about that and how he wants to approach working if he intends to continue to climb with Florida State.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. Yeah, he has a very unique personality. But like you said, man, he brought it on Saturdays. I mean, he was something out there. And I saw his game improve, I thought, during the season. I mean, he really started to learn his role and do a good job with it. And here's a guy you think it needs probably at least another year of seasoning, especially in terms of getting a little bit stronger and bigger if he wants to play on Sundays. But you're right. I don't think the door is completely closed. This is not a couple of years ago. I think with NIL and everything that's happened, things are still open in these cases. Now, this could be a situation where he sits down. I don't know. Maybe it's been irrevocably broken. Maybe he's definitely gone. I don't know. I don't have any insight on that specifically. But, like you said with Joshua Farmer, these things can sometimes still be worked out. You can sit down with the coaching staff. You can have another conversation with Battle's End. Maybe they come to an agreement. They come out with an accommodation. Something is worked out. It could still happen. So just because they're in the portal doesn't mean they're gone forever. But yeah, we'll keep our eyes. And then, of course, we'll update everybody on Warchant. We've got several linked threads active on both the PRB and the Tribal Council, tracking a lot of the transfer portal stuff. So you can follow that. I did notice that one of the affirmed offers that I think our crack reporter Matt Lacer has been on is that we have already a confirmed offer to an edge rusher from another team. So you got to wonder, was that maybe known? But I think they needed one anyway, didn't they, Aslan? Didn't you think they're probably going to make one, and maybe now they go after two guys in the portal?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're counting on Verse probably taking his immense talents, as you said, to the NFL. So they need to replace that role. But yeah, maybe now I wouldn't think that was a proactive move on Payton announcing his intentions, but I'm not going to overreact right now, but this would significantly hurt. This is a homegrown kid, if you will. I mean, he was brought in from high school. He has been developed He was ACC Rookie of the Year on defense. He stepped his game up this season as well. The sky's the limit for a kid like this. So certainly hope maybe things can be smoothed out and worked out. And also, I don't know, other folks on the On3 Network reporting that maybe DJ Uiagalelei has been contacted. Gene, I know we're talking about defense right now, but
Wow.
quarterback seemingly a target for the Noles right now in the portal as well. Is that surprising to you?
I thought honestly a couple weeks ago, I really thought, you know what, with Glenn, with Rodemaker, with Kromenhoek coming in, you thought it was going to be the Glenn battle with Rodemaker. Maybe you didn't need one, but this is where you go to the point. I think if it's a guy that's just as good as those guys, and this is up to the coaching staff's evaluation, I wouldn't bring him in. You're messing up chemistry. I don't really see the point of if you got guys equal and these guys know the system. It's probably you're just adding another body there. But if they think he is a better player and can come in and will likely be the starter, then maybe you have to do it. And I don't know if maybe they saw something, when I really wish, I know you guys talked about it. I know they talked about it in Seminole headlines, man. For so many reasons, we wish Rodemaker could have played in, the ACC championship game. Cause I think that would have been a true reflection, a true dress rehearsal of what he could have been. I just think what we saw in Gainesville wasn't really a fair reflection of what he could be. So it's a shame we didn't get to see that. So maybe the coaches do think maybe they do need to bring in a quarterback. So I'm warming up to the idea if they feel there's a guy that can come in. We've seen DJ Ungale before. I mean, I wasn't overly impressed with him at Clemson, but we know guys can develop and grow. I didn't see a lot of what he did this year. But yeah, that might be that would be very interesting and mix some things up. But we had him there this spring to compete for the starting job.
All you people that want the quarterback to pull it on the read option, he'll do it. He'll do it. He was doing
He's
it at
going to that
Oregon.
QB sneak. I remember that he's a big dude, man, and I like that. I love that fact that maybe we can get our own tush push. We get that going here with him because he's a big body, man. There's something so valuable when your quarterback can push ahead for that 1 yard whenever you need it.
Absolutely. So stay connected to warchant.com. The transfer season in full effect right now. Again, Patrick Payton took to Twitter earlier announcing his intentions to enter the transfer portal. That would be a huge loss for Florida State, but certainly not the end of the road right now for that. Ayobami Tafasi also announced his intentions or his farewell as well. Gene, another guy on the defensive line earlier in the day. Daughtry Richardson, offensive lineman, also entered his name into the portal, or plans to rather. There's a thread over on the warchant.com travel council.
Keep up with all also in there.
What's that?
Did Quayshawn Sapp come down today as well?
I think so. I saw it on the work Slack, but I don't know if we've added to the thread or not yet. But Quayshawn Sapp, who is a large human being that you were hoping to develop at center, apparently might be on his way out as well into the portal. So stay connected to warchant.com. We got you covered on all things with the transfer portal, whether it's guys leaving the program or coming back in. So hit the thumbs up on the way out. We certainly would appreciate it. For Gene, I'm Aslan. Thank you for watching this edition of the Warchant Transfer Portal Tracker, powered by Cummins.